Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Welcome back to the PM and the AM podcast, a comedy podcast designed for listeners of all ages. Join us as we take a trip through the darkest holes in the internet as we find some of the funniest questions, debates, purchasable items, and other miscellaneous things that we do on this show. Today, we've got a banger coming up for you. I'm Porter McNeely and joined by co-host Blake Bushman. Blake, how is your Sunday going today?
It's great, man. You know, just nice, relaxing, doing my thing. I'm going to go get a haircut here in a minute.
Ooh,
you know? So I have
nice
a
trim.
hat on today. Maybe next week I'll take the hat off.
Are they touching the beard too? I got to ask.
Oh, no, I do that all by myself here. I'm
Okay,
going to go do that after my haircut, probably.
Oh, wow. So the full
real nice
manicure
and tidied
today.
up here.
Atta baby, you're gonna be looking good for the next episode. We're excited, you know, as you get with the video podcast, you do kind of have to put a little bit more thought into that, and that's something that I'd never really done before, you know. And I kind of did just call us out because we're
I had to brush out the
procrastinating
crumbs from my beard, you know, and tidy up a little bit. So.
Get presentable. I mean, you probably just had lunch. There's probably like a sandwich and some Cheez-Its in there.
This side behind me looks fine, like, you know, nice and clean and everything. On the other side, though, total nightmare. It just pigsty. So, you know, I got it.
Well, I wish I could join you there in that club. Unfortunately, not quite yet, but I am working on it. Those are like 95% of my target ads on Instagram is like, do you want to become a man and grow a beard? Buy this product. I'm like, gosh, dang it. I wish I could have probably spent like $5,000 on that.
Those are like the majority of my targeted ads too. Are those like,
okay. You're like 5 years too late,
can't
pal.
grow a beard. I'm like, guys, I've had one for a couple of
I
years.
look like
now.
Abraham Lincoln over here. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So we do know that they're off on the target on Blake a little bit, but for me, they're spot on. Oh, that's funny. Anyway, we have got a great show coming up today. I'm really excited. We are going to be having another bracket segment, and this time it's going to be on a subject that hits close to home for me because as a kid, I spent hours watching these shows, and those are game
now I'm
shows.
nervous.
I am a
nervous.
game show lover, and so we are going to be making a bracket of the top 8 game shows that you guys will be voting alongside our Instagram all week, and we're really excited for that. But before we do that, we have a listener question, and before we get into that question, we have to go over the results from our last week's question. Blake, you want to go over kind of what that was and stuff? I guess he doesn't.
I totally forgot.
So our last week's question is, if you had the power to delete one exercise from existence,
That's right.
what would that be? And we got a lot of buzz around that question. There were a lot of people that were very passionately against certain exercises. One that I saw a lot that I wasn't surprised about was planks. Planks seem to be, I mean, not effective. Maybe I'm wrong, but like it seems stupid just to sit there and hold one position where most of the pain I feel like is in the shoulders anyway. So yeah,
I actually came up
definitely
with a new one, and I didn't look through all of our submissions, so maybe somebody sent this in, and thanks to you. If not, then I'm the smartest man alive. But there is a certain exercise that sucks so bad because you look so dumb doing it, and that is a wall sit. Because all you're doing is leaning against the wall, and half a second into that, my legs are shaking like there's a 9.5. Like it, I thought about it after. That might be worse than running. I would rather run a mile than like wall sit for 5 minutes.
I agree. 5 minutes would be insane.
13 seconds in, I'm dead.
And the worse than just the regular wall sit is the people that have a 20-pound dumbbell on their lap while they're wall sitting. That is crazy. That's actually called torture. That's not a form of exercise. That's like calling waterboarding a form of exercise. You can't do it. That's what I'm saying. Is like, can those exercises where you just sit there and hold something be that effective? I think like the movement is what is kind of helping you out, right?
Have you done a wall sit? Have you?
Okay.
When was the last time you did?
But what is the goal of a wall sit? It's to sit still against the wall. It's not to be shaken like you're having.
It's
a panic
working
attack.
Something.
The
point is, it is burning, all right? And burn equals exercise, and it burns. I mean, it's worse than a plank. I would rather do a plank than a wall sit. Wall sits are so dumb because they look like they should be so easy, and I hate them.
Another one that got brought up in the comments of our post on Instagram was a dead bug. And what a dead bug is, you're laying on your back, you raise your feet up in the air, pointing towards like the ceiling, and then you raise your hands up, pointing towards your feet. And that is another hold exercise where you're sitting there.
So you're just laying on your back burning. Like this?
Yeah, exactly. Arms up, your feet are up too, and then there's variation. So my arms could be up, one goes down with the opposite leg, other goes down, and your legs are going down. So it's kind
of like a V up, but you're holding it.
Yes, and so this was an exercise common at a baseball training program that me and some buddies did in high school, and we probably spent hours doing these dead bugs and got nothing to show for it. Now I'm just a flabby old man. I've
never even heard of that before.
It is horrible.
That's another one. It's like, how hard can laying down be? Like you gotta feel so stupid doing that.
It's terrible though, and I was just thinking, maybe the loser of last week's bracket should actually have to go through all of these forbidden exercises.
I don't know. Here's the thing about last week's bracket. I mean, we can go over it now that you introduced it.
Yeah, let's do it.
You and I took a very different approach to this, and I think the listeners followed your approach more, because I went with just the most awkward, because when we talked about it, it was like the most awkward, conversation starter questions. And that's kind of the direction I went. And you went with just the most uncomfortable questions to talk about. And that the people ended up agreeing with those a little bit more, I'd say. But as far as bad conversation starters, I'm still on my side. You obviously had the worst. I mean, asking somebody about politics and stuff, but that's not small talk to me as much as it is ruining a family party. So we went a little different directions on it, but I you wiped me clean on that one. So I guess kudos to you.
Thanks. I was waiting for my props wrapped up in that backhanded slap of 30 seconds. I mean,
when you got
tortured.
your wife right in the polls, and she's twisting her words a little bit to favor you, it's okay. It's all right.
I mean, I made every single one of those this week. I will let that be known.
Oh, so you twisted your own word? Oh, you threw yourself under. I was trying to throw your wife under the bus. You just threw yourself under there. Congratulations,
no, I agree.
You played yourself.
The way I formatted the election/politics question was pandering towards votes, but I thought that was only fair in the current state of America that we did it that way.
Yeah. So I took it as small talk. You took it as the least comfortable conversations. And you know what? I guess the people didn't understand.
That has to be small talk too. That's small talk too.
No, to me, small talk is when you're passing somebody at work, or you run into somebody you haven't seen in a long time. I digress. But we took different approaches, and apparently, when you pander, it helps.
Yeah, I guess that was a good thing you brought up. And I actually did forget, Blake. I do have a video queued up. This is going back to the exercise question. I have a video queued up of an absolutely crazy exercise that I saw at the gym. This is me trying to be stealthily recording at the gym. So hopefully this video works.
I'm going to go over this video.
This is a home video at the gym that I go to. So here we go.
Never before seen footage.
Queuing it up right now. And I've got two videos I want to show. Oh, I don't think did it show up here?
It played for half a second, and I'm concerned.
Okay.
What is happening?
I'm gonna fire it up in because I cannot see. So it is playing on your end, Blake.
Not anymore. It was for a second.
Okay. So I've got another one. I think this video might be a few seconds longer.
There we go.
And hopefully it shows up on my screen.
Is that Daredevil? What is going on right now?
So, regardless of whether this video played or not, what we saw is a blindfolded man doing some sort of Tai Chi crazy exercise. He completely cleared the entire floor of the gym. Nobody wanted to be by him because he was doing these insane exercises. At one point, he was just blindfolded, smacking himself in the neck like this. If I'm on the video, if not,
that was
if you're
the first
listening to
video
audio,
that kept playing.
Yes.
I'm like, what is happening?
He was smacking himself in the Adam's apple, and I don't know how he's still alive. I don't know what he was doing exercise-wise. It wasn't helping him with fitness, but mentally, I can only imagine he was psyching himself out to commit a heinous crime. That's the only thing he could have been doing.
So what was the blindfold for? Here's the thing. There's two reasons for the blindfold. One is he was hiding his identity so he could go commit heinous crimes and nobody would tie it back to his gym.
Exactly.
I mean, like you said, I think you're onto something. Or he was so ashamed of what he was doing that he did the whole, like, I can't see you, you can't see me.
Yeah.
And just...
He didn't care because he had to know people were recording him. But this is what I like the second thing you bring up there. But I'm going to tell you something further about the situation that makes me believe it's number one. And that is, so me and my wife are pulling into the parking lot to go to the gym. And there's a lunatic running straight, like trying to run backwards through the parking lot. And I'm like, okay, why is this guy not just waiting 2 minutes till he gets in the gym to start his workout? He's running backwards. He's got a water jug and a gym bag. He's doing like bicep curls.
Like he's
with both
actually
of those
moving
objects.
backwards. Like
he's running backwards, facing backwards.
Okay.
I almost hit him with my car because he doesn't even know where he's going. Like he actually almost hit my car. I'm just parked there because I'm like, here comes a lunatic, and he's like running backwards right at the hood of my car. Like, this guy is crazy. What? And then we see him inside, and he's blindfolded. Hopefully those videos went through, and so
that was
people on
it was
YouTube
the same guy?
and Spotify are able to see. That was the same guy, yeah. So that's why I'm saying heinous crimes were probably committed later that night. I don't know what else he could
Everything was in
be up
reverse.
to.
Oh, you know what? Here, all right. I just came up with his master plan. So obviously, you know, it's going to be dark, and so he has to practice his Tai Chi moves blindfolded because he can't see. So he's got to do everything without sight, like Daredevil. The reason he was running backwards is because he was going to sneak up on the person running backwards, just, you know, in case there was, you know, in case they're going to follow his footsteps, they would think he went one way, but he actually went the other way because he was going backward. So they would follow him, and he wouldn't be there because he's already 45 minutes that way. The dude's a genius.
Yeah, they're following the tracks, but whoa,
but they're going the wrong way because he was running backwards.
Blake, I think he might have just come up with the greatest crime advice to ever exist. Because that at least buys you, you know, an hour or 2 hours while they're trying to figure out where you were, and then they're like, "Oh no, this is where it originated from."
Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah, but by the time they realize you were running backwards, you're already in Mexico, you know, on a beach somewhere. So
no, that's actually crazy. I had
ran into a serial killer. That's crazy.
Yeah, straight up. Like I said earlier, the whole floor was like clear. So there's a little. I guess we could morph this into a pro tip. If you want space at the gym and you don't want other people near you, put on a blindfold. Start doing crazy vibe workout, just smacking yourself in the Adam's apple, and everybody will just go as far away from you as possible and pretend like you're not there and pretend like humanity is normal.
Yeah. And if you're going to murder somebody, run away backwards so that they won't know which way you went.
That's a Blake pro tip.
2 pro tips in one. That's good.
For the price of one. No, that is an absolute steal for the listeners. You guys are welcome. But we do have another listener submitted question this week, and excited to get into this one as well. I think there could be some kind of polarizing opinions on this one, and it is, do you brush your teeth before or after eating breakfast in the morning? So I'm going to let you take this one first and run with it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you let me go first here, because if anybody who knows me, you were my roommate for a while, my wife, like anybody who's lived in the same house with me knows that when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I have to do before I can do anything else, I have to eat something.
Oh, okay.
And it's like I can't stand having that like nasty morning breath or taste in my mouth, and so I'll go eat something. It can be anything, you know, a granola bar. My old roommate used to give me a hard time because there was a point where I had like a whole bunch of like Halloween candy or something left over, and so I would always eat like a Snickers. First thing when I woke up in the morning, I'd rip it open, throw down a Snickers, or like anything that I could find. The first thing that it was, I would eat. Now, that being said, even though I do that first thing because I have to get that taste out of my mouth, and like brushing my teeth just doesn't work. Like I'll usually always go shower and do my whole thing, and then I'll go back, eat breakfast, brush my teeth, and leave. I can't do the whole brush my teeth and then eat. Like it makes everything taste bad. So
no, I agree.
Eat to get rid of the taste. Eat for real. Brush your teeth, and you're on your way.
No, I think that was a critical morning success routine, because if you are going to wake up and soil your toothbrush immediately with the nasty stench and taste that's in your mouth, you got to have like a buffer zone of a bowl of cereal, a yogurt, something's got to kind of clean that out, a couple glasses of water before you even want to stick your toothbrush in there, in my case at least. And,
I mean, it's a danger zone.
For sure. And why would you, like you brought up, why would you want to ruin the taste of your nice glass of orange juice with the taste of toothpaste or whatever else you might be eating that morning? So
have you ever done that? The toothpaste and orange juice combo?
Yeah. Oh, and it's on a day where you don't even realize it. Whew, yeah, that is.
Yeah, because like
that is not something you want to experience.
You're not just gonna not drink orange juice if you have it just because I already brushed my teeth. Like I already poured this glass. I guess I'll toss it out. No, you're gonna drink it and you're gonna hate every second. So just drink it before, brush your teeth before you leave. You're nice and fresh on your way to school or work or wherever you're going. You know, I don't know why anybody would do anything different.
I agree. I think definitely that's the only way that I've ever done it, the only way that works for me. But I don't know if I'm actually aware of anybody that's in the other side of the argument on this point, but I do know that there are a lot of people that
it's
very
definitely
passionate about first thing is brushing the teeth when they wake up.
You know, I'd have to double check here. Maybe I'll get in trouble for even saying this, but I'm pretty sure my wife brushes her teeth before she eats breakfast. And I think it's just like she has her routine, you know, like she wakes up, she'll go in the bathroom and do her thing, and then she'll come out and eat breakfast and then leave. So I'm pretty sure that she does it flip-flop from us. And I might have to consider finding a new wife because that's just gross.
Oh, no.
I'm kidding.
Oh, no.
I'm kidding. That was a joke for legal reasons. No, but like this, I'm pretty sure
you're backing yourself into a corner here.
Yeah, no,
man, that's actually wild because then the benefits of brushing your teeth, I feel like, have worn off by the time you're outside the door and you just have like a peanut butter toast stuck in your teeth.
Then you've eaten and like you got junk in there. Your breath smells like whatever you ate. Like you eat a breakfast burrito for like before you walk out the door. You're smelling like breakfast burrito all day. Like freshen up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So super gross.
For sure. I think we're definitely onto something with this. I think this is kind of the first time we've both been really aligned on our opinions on one of these questions.
Yeah,
and it feels good.
Usually I end up getting flamed for my opinion. I mean, there's still a chance I could. I'm going to get in trouble for throwing my wife under the bus either way. But this is interesting. This is the first one that we've agreed on. It'll be interesting to see what people think about it.
Yeah, as always, we'll be posting this sometime throughout the week on our Instagram at PM and the AM podcast. So make sure you follow us so you can follow along and let us know in the comments what your morning routine looks like and if you walk outside the door with breakfast stuck in your teeth. But we will be right back with the top game show bracket after a brief break, so stay tuned. And we are back. We've got another morning drive debate segment coming at you, the segment where we take the hottest topics on the internet and we choose our top 8 of them, and then we post that to Instagram, have you guys vote on it and let us know which is your favorite of a certain category. Like we mentioned today, we've got the top game shows, which, as I was telling Blake a little bit before we got into this recording, they were kind of a big thing for me growing up. You know, we only had the 25 whatever channels that were free. And so, I mean, game shows were lit because other than the PBS Kids and whatnot, like there wasn't a whole lot that we could watch on TV. But some of those game shows, you know, they were a big hit. So I'm excited to get into this one. What about you, Blake?
I might be on the opposite side. I mean, I definitely there were like probably 2 or 3 that I watched and everything. Mm-hmm. But more we did like I wouldn't call them game shows, but like The Biggest Loser. Like my mom and we watched the crap out of that show. Like it's not a game show, but it's kind of like one of those like competition things. We love those, but game shows, there's like maybe 1 or 2 that like I really watched. Loser. And dude, I love The Biggest Loser, man. I'll tell you what.
Do they still make that?
I have no clue. My goal is to be on it one day. You know, I think I'm almost there. I'm getting there.
As a trainer?
No. I want to win the money. So.
I hope you go, and the first thing you do, like you got to do a wall sit and run, and you're like, just go home.
Dude, if they tell you what, I would leave. It wouldn't be worth it. No, so it was a hard time coming up with a lot of these that I genuinely like because a lot of the like popular ones, I have some issues with. So I'm hoping you pick them so I can roast you, and we'll see how it goes. But
all right, so
you have the first pick, I believe.
In terms of one of one and the number one pick, I think it's difficult, but I'm gonna go with a classic. I'm gonna go with Jeopardy.
Oh yeah, what a loser! No
way.
Thing. That's the one I was hoping you were gonna pick. And you want to know why? Because it is absolutely, by far, without a question, the most popular game show. It has it's almost a monopoly on game shows. And I hate it because of the stupid format that you have to answer in the form of a question. So dumb, guy. Like, if I know the answer, I'm like, dogs. And they're like, no, it's actually, what is dogs? I'm like, shut up. That's not even a sentence. Like, what are dogs?
What are dogs?
But you have to say what is. Like, it's so dumb. I hate it. And
you could have said what are dogs in that context if it was talking about dogs.
No, but they don't. Because they say, what is dogs? Like that. Watch Jeopardy. They always format it in like that way. And half of the time it's not even a real sentence because it's you just have to throw what is in front of the actual answer. And I hate it. So, no. And like, honestly, Jeopardy will probably win this. But it's stupid.
Well, I think the biggest aspect that it has going for it is the play along factor. You know, with some of these other game shows, you play along as well, and I think that's kind of their main goal. But Jeopardy has a killer play along factor because you're sitting there trying to answer every single question, seeing how much money you could have potentially got, thinking, oh, one day I'm going to be on this show, even though everybody's like a software engineer or a nuclear physicist, and you're like, yeah, I could totally be on that show one day. Probably not, Little Porter. Probably not, but it still had that great play-along factor.
In my opinion, there are better shows that have – because like the play-along factor just comes from answering questions, and there are better game shows that have that, in my opinion, that I don't have to say what is. That's really my problem with it. I just hate that. I think it's the stupidest rule of all time, and maybe it's because –
Points for the host, though, with Alec Trebek. May he rest in peace. But that guy was a legend.
Oh, yeah, no, phenomenal. I mean, the greatest ever. But, you know, he's gone now, and I think Jeopardy, it's time that it goes with him. So we'll move on. The one game show that I watched more than anything and I loved, and, like, there's clips online that I think are hilarious because people give the most out-of-the-box answers to, and that's Family Feud.
I knew you were going there. I knew it.
It's great. It's the one game show that I can watch and like I thoroughly enjoy because people are stupid, and it makes me so happy. You know, you got these families or these groups of people that are out there just making a fool of themselves, and it's great.
No, it is excellent when you see people answer the stupidest things to a question, and just because they're like on the spot and they've got 5 seconds to answer whatever, you just know they're throwing up an X after that answer, and it is a good show.
What makes that show great, though, is Steve Harvey. Like, he's done such a good job of, like, reacting to people's stupid answers and things, you know. Just, like, the faces he pulls and the answers that he gives to people and stuff. Top notch. So I got to give it to Family Feud, and that was really the only one that I wanted. So I think we can end here, and let's have a one-on-one.
You still got 3 more picks. We're not doing a one-on-one. So with my next pick, I'm going to go from nighttime TV to morning TV, and I am taking The Price is Right.
The Price is Right. Show too. That's so boring.
It's sweet, dude. Everybody's just going nuts. There's cars, there's boats, there's trips. It's so exciting.
You got that one jerk who always does $1.
Yeah, they undercut the next person by
just
one.
Just play the game. Just play the game. You know, how much do you actually think it is? It's not $1. Okay, it should be the closest to the actual answer, not the closest while still being under. I
agree because people always just like bid that to make the next person not be able. Like it would have to be exact for them to be right, and I just think that's kind of lame for sure.
The thing is $450. I guessed $500. You guessed $1. And you win. I think it's ludicrous. So
that is a little unfair. We are kind of uncovering that.
Yes, like I said,
I think it's a good show. I think it's enjoyable.
Like I said, I was going to have some issues with some of your picks here, so I'm glad with how this is going.
Yeah, you just are heated against every show, apparently.
Yeah. You can tell me if this is a game show. In my opinion, it is. I think it falls into that category. But that's Deal or No Deal.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Whew. because that was the other one that I
Any
watched.
game that has a banker where you got to call him on the phone, of course.
I mean, Howie. Dude,
And Howie Mandel.
I don't know what it is about like that phone that he had that he talked to the banker with.
It was
for
so
some reason
sleek.
was like the coolest thing to me. I was like, I got to get a phone like that. It's just like this little slender little thing, and he's like, yeah, all right, okay. Like I loved it.
Who was he actually talking to? The
one
producers?
I mean, it always showed like this silhouette of a banker up in like the top floor. I have no idea what was going on.
That show was
the
sweet, dude.
The mystery of it all was fantastic. So I loved Deal or No Deal. That was probably the other one that I watched, and I'm happy. I'm happy with that one on. I think it had a little bit of playability factor as well. You know, you could pick your case and see if you would have won.
That's a great pick. I had it on my list. I was going to take it next because I think Howie Mandel was excellent in that show as well. And that was another one. You always chose a briefcase. You always did. And then you made fun of them at the end when they had $1 or $5. You're like, yeah, my briefcase and had 20.
It's one of few game shows that has been turned into an arcade game. And that's really like the litmus test of a good game show, in my opinion. So,
and just playing off of that, I'm going to take Wheel of Fortune in the next pick because that one as well has been turned into an arcade one. You know, you got to build the puzzles. That has made us some legendary clips as well because people have the word completely spelled out and they can't figure out what the phrase is. And they're just sitting there and they say the wrong thing or something, or say something that's completely like wouldn't even work with the letters that are available. So I think Wheel of Fortune is a pretty good game show. Obviously, we've kind of left the category of if they were on TV right now, would I want to watch them? But that would be. I was
going to say that's Wheel of Fortune is the old person classic.
Yeah,
that's
it's a crossword puzzle on TV.
that's a great way to put it.
It's the morning newspaper on TV.
Oh man, yeah, no, that's
and the hosts are like super old too.
They don't even make it with like for new channels and stuff. You have to have the old receiver that it's like still somehow catching reruns from that or something.
Man, they're crazy with their marketing strategy though, because they're just hoping all their fans don't die because all their fans are starting to get up there in age. They're going to run out of audience. Nobody's going to care about that show anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean they already their whole audience is just laugh tracks and stuff. Nobody's actually there. They have the 3 people that are playing and that's it.
That's very fair.
But You scared me a little bit because you started talking something about it's being turned into like classic games and stuff. Because the next one I wanted to take is Minute to Win It.
Oh, okay, that's an interesting.
And
pick. I hadn't even thought about that one.
Just thought of that about 13 seconds ago. And the reason being is because you started talking about how Wheel of Fortune has like games that you actually would play and stuff. I've never watched Wheel of Fortune. I don't know what's on there besides pain and suffering, but. Minute to Win It has like legitimate games that are played everywhere across the country now. Like every Christmas party, every like school event, it seems nowadays, like they all have some form of these Minute to Win It games, and I think they've really made their impact. And it's one of the more fun ones because you can't play it at the time, but it's one of the few game shows that you can actually take and play at home on your own and play for real. So.
Wasn't Guy Fieri the host of that show?
They had a couple, I think.
Okay. I think at one point, if I'm remembering correctly,
I think
he was the host of that show. But
he's a busy man, so.
That show was almost better for what it stemmed into because it did create a lot of fun games for like parties and stuff.
Yeah.
The show itself was kind of like meh.
No,
I felt like they were impossible on the show. All the stuff they got incrementally harder and stuff. But speaking of impossible, and I just thought of this one as well as we were going.
Ooh,
with number 7, I'm taking one that made grown people look like absolute fools from these random kids that were extremely smart. I'm taking Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
No, that was a sneaky pick in the 4th. No, that was my last pick, dude.
That was a great show. That was an amazing show.
Far and away my favorite game show. Like, I loved that show, and it was because like when it came out I was about in the 5th grade, and let me tell you what, I felt like an idiot because I did not know as much as those kids knew. Like,
no way.
That show had to have been rigged.
For sure. Those questions were like college science, and like, this is
it was like if the star is traveling.
Like, geez. And all the kids that were on there were always like super smart. So it was just
they did.
Jeff Foxworthy and the kids just teamed up to make adults look like idiots.
That was a great show. I had two game shows on like disc, like a DVD,
wow.
like a video game you could play along growing up.
Ooh.
One was Deal or No Deal, and one was Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
That would have been a good one. That would have been hard.
I loved Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I'm really sad that you just took it.
Yeah. It was just so great
man.
at making people just look so stupid when it was like second grade science, and everyone at home was like, I have no idea what this is. But the poor people that had to answer that question, and they're like, yeah, I'm a scientist with NASA, and they're like, oh, I don't know what this is. I'm not as smart as a freaking second grader. So that show was killer. Whoever came up with that, like, we'll pretend it's a fifth grade level question and make it super complicated.
I wish it was still around. Yeah.
For sure.
And then they'd have like the phone of friends, but it was like the fifth graders that you had to talk to. So you had to trust.
They had to choose which one they wanted. They had to choose which one was the smartest. So they're sitting there like looking at them, just like scouting them out. And then
they always chose the kid sitting in the back with glasses that had like got them all right. Yeah, no.
He brought his pocket protector and he really didn't know anything, but they thought he was the smartest kid in the group. Man, what a show! Man.
They need to bring that back. Jeff Foxworthy. Get on it.
I don't know what he's up to, but that would be good. Reboot.
Oh, man. All right. So that was my last pick. And the other ones I have left are not shows I actually typically enjoy. So I'm gonna go a little bit foreign here. And there was two game shows that take place in Japan that blew up on YouTube a while back, and I used to watch those all the time. And I got to decide between the two, and because this is the last pick, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So they're called Silent Library and Human Tetris.
I've never seen either or heard of them, but I know that Japanese game shows were like insane.
Dude, they're so funny. I'm gonna pick Human Tetris. I'll get that out of the way right now, and then I'll explain what they are. So Silent Library was just like they had this room full of people, and you could leave at any time. And the only rule was that you couldn't make any sound. But they'd like come in and just like wail on these people and like torture them in different ways, and like it was make their lives miserable. And they couldn't make any sound, otherwise.
And this was on Japanese TV.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Human Tetris is a bit more self-explanatory. They would stand on like this platform and have these. Like the inverse of Tetris shapes. Like they'd have blocks around then a hole of the Tetris shape going in. So, like the L piece or whatever. Okay. And they'd have to make their body in the shape of this L. And if they didn't, it was because the piece was coming at them, and then it would just knock them off the platform into the water below. So it was kind of like Wipeout.
Dang, that's sweet.
Oh, it was so. You got to watch some YouTube videos after this. It was so funny. I used to watch them all the time. They'd have ones that were like floating, and people would have to like try to jump through, and they'd just get ruined. So, I don't expect that one to do particularly well, only because I'm not sure how many people have actually watched that. Mm-hmm. But if you have, you can appreciate it. Probably should be in a tier above everything else because of the comedy factor.
That's actually awesome. Crazy. I know I have heard some things about like the Japanese game shows back in the day. They were just like insane, just beating people up and fakes.
The Silent Library there was one that like a sumo came in and just sat on this dude's head and like
oh my god,
he either had to die or make a sound and get kicked out of the game. Like,
see, that's crazy.
You thought Squid Games was like a fake thing. No, that's just how things are on game shows in Japan. So
that's wild. I do have to bring up a couple of honorable mentions. Some other good ones were Press Your Luck was a good one. I had the no whammy stop, and they had to hit a button. It's
never
one
even
of the
heard
older
of
ones that became more of a classic. Another good one is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Classic. And I had that one.
Let's Make a Deal. Yeah, those were overall good game shows, but just unfortunately not good enough to make the list. Did you have any honorable mentions, Blake?
Let's Make a Deal was the only other one really that I had on there that we didn't talk about. I think I wanted to include American Ninja Warrior, but I didn't think that classified as a game show. So
I don't know where that one sits, but that is a good one.
Yeah, it's kind of like an in between of The Biggest Loser type show and a game show. But to me, a game show, the competition all has to take place in one sitting. So
let me throw you back even further than Ninja Warrior with American Gladiators. Remember that show?
Same thing. So
crazy.
I don't know if it counts as a game show, but I wanted to include it, but I didn't pick it only because it's kind of in a gray area. So that was all I had though. I mean, I think we pretty much covered everything. I made fun of some game shows, and I'm feeling pretty good.
So we got the top 8 there. As always, it'll be posted on our Instagram for you guys to go vote for your favorites. Let us know how we did on this bracket, and send us ideas for some future brackets. Thanks to everybody who tuned in this week. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and leave a comment or review and drop a like on the video. Thanks so much for all your support, and we will catch you guys next week.
Peace out.
Congrats on making it all the way to the end. We hope you enjoyed the show. You are now officially part of the PM and the AM fan base, the morning people, and we are super pumped to have you here. Now that you're a part of the crew, please share the episode with a friend, and make sure to check out the rest of our shows and social media content for more hilarious brackets, crazy questions, and an overall great time. Thanks for listening. It truly means a lot to us, and we'll catch you guys next week.